Hey there, today we're going to talk about Satan in Milton's Paradise Lost and its connection with a DC hero and a British rock band. Since the publication of Paradise Lost in 1667, many readers of Milton's work have thought of Satan as one of the misunderstood heroes of the tale. Why? Well, for starters, the story starts with his falling from grace and into hell, and isn't the reason for this punishment where a lot of the relatability of the character lies. It seems like the only thing that Satan wanted was more recognition in heaven, and when he did not get it, he started to question God's authoritarian methods towards his creation. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven is a quote from Satan himself that shows his discontent with God's ways of ruling his kingdom. Here we have a situation that comes pretty relatable to us simple mortals. An appreciative worker becoming resentful towards his boss is not even an uncommon topic in Hollywood storytelling, and it's from this situation where the development of Satan through Paradise Lost derivates. We have a Satan that is struggling with pride and insecurity, as he thought he deserved a place next to God and now he doesn't even have a place in heaven. He wants to find a place for himself away from his creator turned enemy, and he wants revenge. Thus, he takes as his mission to corrupt humankind, God's precious new creation. The story of Satan in Paradise Lost goes a little bit like this. Satan falls from heaven and gets into hell. In his capital city, called Pandemonium, he organizes the inhabitants of hell to go against God's wishes with the help of his friends Beelzebub, Mammon, and a powerful speech that makes everyone agree with him. As the good leader he is, he offers to be the first to scout in the terrain, and figures how the universe is distributed. He wanders into chaos until he finally finds the Garden of Eden, that hasn't got any human inhabitants yet. The next thing that happens is the Angelic War, a war between angels and Satan followers that ends when the Son of God comes to the rescue of his forces, and sends everyone away from heaven once again. Godfather finally creates his last species and gives it free will and the garden. Satan sees his opportunity and strikes again, making God's new creation break the only rule they have, not to eat from a tree in the garden. Satan returns triumphant amongst his fellow fallen angels until all of them turn into snakes. At least he did reign in hell for a while. As you see, Satan went through a lot in Paradise Lost. From being a cherub, ravening cormorant, a lion, a tiger, a toad, and finally a snake, his descending was portrayed in more than one way. Even in his speech, from his magnificent discourse to rise devils against God, to he admitting that God was probably right in Book 4. Boasting I could subdue the omnipotent I me, they little know how dearly I about the boast, so vain under the torment inwardly I groan, is one of the quotes in which he expresses that maybe God was right, and he is too powerful for him to beat. Satan's history is tragic, and his place as a hero in the tale is doubted as soon as Adam and Eve comes into play. However, his participation in the damnation of humankind is not forgotten. Paradise Lost has managed to influence generations of people, as many people think that what Milton wrote is actual religious canon, though his influence managed to surpass religion and has come to us through different cultural products. The original Paradise Lost was a book. However, in 2003, the British boy band Credit and a Field made its own reprise of the piece in Damnation and a J, From Genesis to Nemesis, a conceptual album based on Milton's work. It includes 17 songs and 4 chapters. Although not all the songs had Satan as the protagonist, most of them had him as a part of the narrative. The first chapter, Fantasia Down, included 4 tracks, from the creation of the world to Adam and Eve's fall from grace and Satan's insurrection. The song An Enemy Leads the Tempest is the one who describes Satan's fall. Like in Paradise Lost, it all came to his pride and his refusal to keep being under God's orders. With lyrics like, as pride precedes the downfall, so he took his place before the fire hall, or he will not heal nor fake a bow, murmur curses to the wind, enraged he raved in Balrog goals, upon a storm, firstborn of sin. It is represented that the falling from grace was all his fault, just as in Paradise Lost. The second chapter, Paradise Lost, opened with a Revelations quote that was all about Satan. However, Danny Field, the common writer of all the pieces in the album, didn't stop there. as the second song of the chapter, Better to Reign in Hell, is taken from a direct quote of the book. Meanwhile, the first song of the chapter, Carry On, tells its listeners the story of the temptation, with lyrics like A bargain angel, his wit span to sea, the garden swell with terrors, to banish man and Eve, another fall from grace, with splash from the gates, is the same thing that Satan wanted to do in Paradise Lost, to take revenge upon God. In Suicide of the third chapter, the song Present from the Poison Hearted is written from Satan's perspective. In this song, he is acknowledging his flaws, however, he is still not surrendering to God's commands, just like he did in the book 4 of Paradise Lost. This book, as Milton's work, uses his songs to question the ways of God towards humankind, though its intention is never to justify them, as it was Milton's work, although it never actually achieved that. This reprise of Paradise Lost focuses on the whole story, though other approaches do exist. For example, DC Comics takes on Satan. This character is based on Milton's Satan, according to its creator Neil Gaiman, except for the looks. That's all on David Bowie, at least for the original comic. Its name is Lucifer Morningstar, and his story starts just as Paradise Lost did. He riots in heaven and is condemned to spend the rest of eternity ruling hell and punishing those who did wrong. Lucifer's backstory includes the angelic war and the fallen from grace of Adam and Eve. The plotline used for the comics starts 8 million years after he took control of hell under God's commandments, and he decides to give up his kingdom and moves to LA to manage a nightclub. In the comics, Lucifer is still a decided character who has learned his lesson and has stopped trying to defeat God. However, he still wants to find his own place in the universe, away from the influence of the creator named the Presence, who is God. One of the questions that come from Paradise Lost is how much God influenced the events of the story, as he was the one who let Satan escape hell. Therefore, he gave him the perfect opportunity to ruin humankind. Lucifer Morningstar thinks that humans are already prone to bad behaviors, and indeed he just tries to confront them with these characteristics inside them. And here's where a central difference between Satan and Lucifer comes to play. While Milton's character has in his discourse line like, as being the contrary to his high will whom we resist, if then his providence out of evil seek, out of God still finds means of evil, the DC character always tells the truth, making it clear that he is not the one that makes man or any other species corrupt, but that he just showed them their true nature, while Milton's Satan could say one or two falsehoods to achieve his purpose of going against God. Neither of the representation of the fallen angel really understands how much influence God has over everyone's destiny. However, the comic character gets to free himself from God's master's plan regarding humanity by renouncing forever to his place in hell. Actually, Morningstar probably has the destiny that Satan wanted all along, as he was capable of creating his own universe. Though he didn't create it to control it, he just wanted to free himself from the Presence influence. Presence, aka God. Though he did just make one rule for this new world, for its inhabitants to not worship absolutely anyone, not even him, proving that he still resented the ways in which God treated his own universe. The character that first appeared in the Sandman comics worked almost as a sequel from Paradise Lost Satan, with maybe a few changes as he has brothers, the ability to shape-shift matter, and a whole story with his wings, which they weren't taken away from him by God, but that he gave up willingly after he decided to renounce. The story of Lucifer Morningstar is still in the works by Vertigo, a comic book brand inside DC. Anyways, this was just a quick look on how Milton's Paradise Lost has managed to influence art productions since its first appearance. But now the question lies on you. Where else do you find reference to this work and this character?